Alright, what is up guys, it is Storm back here with another video, and in this one I am bringing you part 31 to Mightless, a My Hero Academia story by the mysterious Banana. Now if you want to check this story out for yourself, the link to it will be down in the description below. But before the video begins, if you like the content you're seeing, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. I mean, they're all free, so why not? If you want some dope channel merch, links will be down in the description below. And if you want to see more of me, be sure to go check out my other channels. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, which will all be linked down below. But without further ado, why don't we just dive right on in. Day 2 of the training camp in Izuku already has second thoughts of whether earning the right to be here was really such a good thing. His wind manipulation quirk was long gone when All For One was passed down to him. However, the condition being that Izuku can only have All For One, while his sensei keeps all the quirks he had stolen over the years in order to keep him alive. However, he was still registered with the wind quirk, so in order to keep the deception going a little while longer, he had to constantly waterboard himself for no reason, while claiming he's increasing his lung capacity. However, with the Class B now in the fray, he was finally reminded why he was still doing all of this. As with the appearance of Class B, the Pussycats were finally fully assembled. Lock on with sparkling gazes, we've come to lend a paw for help, coming out of nowhere, strikingly cute and cat-like. Here it comes, Izuku thought, rolling his eyes. We are the wild Pussycats. The group cheered in unison. Alright, so are they gonna do that cliche thing where, for whatever reason, they just give away their abilities for no reason so they could flash that introduction box on screen? My quirk is search. I know everything about anyone I lock my eyes with, up to 100 people at a time, explained the lively one known as Ragdoll. And there it is. My quirk, Earthflow, can create the perfect training ground for each of you, Pixie Bob followed. With my telepathy, I can give advice to each of you, all at once. Mandalay stepped in. And I'm here to whip you into shape, finished Tiger, giving off an aura so menacing. The Japanese kanji for menacing was literally floating around him. Well, my job here is 3/4 done. Izuku pat himself on the back. Good enough. Hey, Spinner, have you seen Sachi and Irina? I haven't seen them all day, Yang asked. Last I checked, they sent down the hill. Apparently they're doing some training of their own, replied her lizard friend. Looking over the hill, what she saw couldn't be described as training, more like plain old torture. While Irina, who looked like she was on the verge of fainting, continuously shrunk and regrew a boulder, whose original size could no longer be confirmed. Sachi seemed to be going in and out of a nearby porta potty, with his face looking a different color each time. What was even weirder was that the hounds were there too, but while most of the members of the 4-man team seemed to be doing normal military exercises, Alpha, the leader, seemed to be playing the role of drill sergeant. Come on, I want to see some blood on the sand today. Sachi, if I see you run into that porta potty one more time, I'm going to be giving you the title Private Mudbottoms. Irina, you call that a boulder? I sucked on pacifiers bigger than that boulder. We have a war to win here, you maggots, he cried, sounding almost exactly like every movie drill sergeant ever. Al? Yang asked. What is it? Excuse me, what is it? The ruthless ex-soldier asked. What are those two doing? Oh, they're actually trying to improve their quirks, from what I heard, so I decided to bring in my squad to give them some extra motivation. Killing Snipe is the only motivation I need, but thanks anyway, Sachi called back, now purple. So, how exactly are they training their quirks? Well, Irina is increasing her stamina by shrinking and growing things over and over, while Sachi, interestingly enough, had this brilliant idea in mind. Apparently, his quirk allows him to fire needles, but he can also use it as a means to expel ingested poison from his body by loading whatever he ingested into the needles. Kinda like sweating, but with very pointy sweat. If perfected, this could essentially give him complete immunity to any poison, explained Alpha. But currently, I can only expel like 20% of the stuff I ingest. I'm trying to make it 100. But in the meantime, I'll just have to keep on downing laxatives until my stomach no longer wants to kill itself, finished Sachi, completely slumped over. Shouldn't you work more on your maximum ammo capacity or your accuracy? Asked Yang, with a massive drop of sweat running down her head. Oh, yeah, that's a much better idea, actually. Shit. Bruised and exhausted, it would be hard to make this day any worse for the students, having gone through training hell. It was even worse for poor Izuku, who, since he didn't have a quirk to train conventionally, was just torturing himself for no reason at all. Yet somehow, the heroes had found a way to make it worse. It's like we said yesterday, we're not serving your food anymore, the blonde kitty called out in an energetic tone. Now you gotta make your own food, Ragdoll cut in. While the rest of the classes were bummed out by the news, Ida, optimistic as he was, cheered them on, setting out to make the best curry in the world. While grumpy at first, the class quickly lightened up. While the students washed and chopped vegetables, however, something stood out to Izuku. Katsuki. The guy had been pretty quiet lately, and from what he heard, no one in the class really liked him, most of which treated him like actual nitroglycerin, explodes to the slightest touch, better left alone. So it was odd seeing him trying to actually socialize with the others, helping them make the fire, and for one brief moment, he could have sworn seeing him smile, a face that would have made the headlines, should it end up on his face without the furrowed brows. What's more, it seemed to piss him off for reasons beyond him. Hey, Izuku, you wanna try some curry? It's delicious, Ochako asked, seeing Izuku slowly walk away. I already had my fill, I'm just gonna take a walk, Izuku called out. Before Ochako could ask more, Izuku walked off, in a faster than normal pace to make sure he got out of sight. Once he was sure no one was following him, he went to meet up with the rest of his group. Thankfully, Kurogiri opened a portal midway, leading straight to the campsite, saving him a mile worth of walk. Little did he know, the second he left the group, without putting down a twice clone, a certain someone, looking from the roof of the lounge, smiled. Looks like it's finally time. God, you are useful, Kurogiri, Izuku commented after reaching the other side. So, what kind of enemies do we have to deal with? Asked Sachi, still resting from his training. As the students were eating, Snipe returned from his patrolling, only to be confronted by Aizawa, who was still sitting there, looking vigilant like a hawk, guarding his students from Shigaraki, possibly attacking them at any given moment. No luck. I patrolled over and over, but I just couldn't find Shigaraki, said Snipe. Hearing that, the teacher sighed in disappointment. We've been here for nearly 2 days. The fact that he hasn't attacked yet is quite unsettling, commented the teacher. What could he be planning? Asked Snipe. I'm really not sure. If it's killing the students, he would have struck already when they were heading to their lounge at the start of the camp. Perhaps he failed to catch any of them. There was a silence. Or perhaps he isn't after the students, speculated the teacher. Then what is he after then? Asked Snipe. That's what I'm not sure of. I mean, since he's out of the league, the only other logical explanation would be to hunt down his former boss. Then why would he have come here? Because, and we've been over this before, there's a possibility that one of our students, or even faculty, is in fact the leader of the league, explained Aizawa. We just don't know who yet. Suddenly, a third familiar voice barged in. May I help you with that? The two pro-heroes turned around to a shocking discovery. Shigaraki was standing right in front of them. Shigaraki? But how? I scanned the entire forest, Snipe yelled, drawing his dual pistols. What about your own lodgings? Asked the villain. Wait, you were hiding here this whole time? Why? For what purpose? What do you want, you bastard? Snipe yelled, this time loud enough to attract the students as well. What's going on here? Whoa, Shigaraki, why are you here? Ochako barged in. Damn you were gonna jump us in the middle of the night, weren't you? Tokoyami asked, activating his quirk. Seeing all the students and teachers all prepared to hit him at once, Shigaraki put his hands up in a surrendering fashion. Please, I'm only here to kill the fuck that kicked me out of my own league of villains. He was among you guys this whole time, after all, explained Shigaraki, as Aizawa quickly restrained him with his band while erasing his quirk. What do you mean? And why wait until now? Why not yesterday or earlier this morning? Asked Aizawa. He was here with you the entire time. Well, yesterday, and the first half of today. I had to wait until he was gone to reveal myself. He would have killed me otherwise, explained the villain. Who? Yelled Aizawa. Hearing this, Shigaraki grinned. Ochako, suddenly remembering that Izuku left for a walk, realized. No, she uttered, collapsing down to her knees. It can't be. Seeing this, Shigaraki smiled, before a huge explosion caught their attention. Running back out, half of the forest was consumed by flames. with distant screams in the distance. "What's going on?" asked Ochako. "Is it Katsuki?" asked Ida. "No, it can't be. Katsuki was right." Suddenly, they all realized Katsuki was also missing a few minutes earlier. So, to summarize, the Wild Wild Pussycats have 2 support types and 2 offense types, and we all know what Vlad King and Aiza was capable of, explained Izuku as the team readied up. "So, how are we going to approach them?" asked Alpha, being the tactical man that he was. "A simple plan. I appear first, then Toga grabs me, taking me hostage. When the pro heroes chase after us, we'll lure them deep into the woods and ambush them. With the forces separated, the rest of the vanguards attack and kidnap the first person we can find. In case there's a slight hic in the plan, however, I'll signal it, and you guys take whoever's in your path. Got it?" "Crystal," Dabi answered. "Alright then. Kurogiri, warp me back, then warp everyone else about 15 feet away from me, just to be sure." "Yes, young master," replied the misty bartender, warping Izuku only a few hundred meters away from the camp. It was dark, but the light of the building made navigating easy and his own squad hard to detect. "Hey, Deku!" A voice nearly made Izuku jump. "Kachan?" the boy replied, seeing his former bully seemingly appear out of nowhere. "I don't know why you decided to take a walk so far away from camp, but whatever. I've come to tell you something important." Izuku sighed. "Listen, if you're gonna try and beat me up again, save it for another time. I have very important things to do right now," he said. However, looking at Katsuki, Izuku knew something was just off. He almost didn't recognize Katsuki due to the face he was making. I'm serious, Deku. Please, just let me talk." "What could be so important for you to say that you'd chase me all the way out here?" asked Izuku, clenching his fist like he was trying to punch him. Katsuki spoke in a soft, trembling, almost guilty voice. I'm sorry," he finally let out. Hearing that, Izuku was really confused. What? You heard me. I'm sorry. Sorry for calling you a quirkless piece of shit. Sorry for tormenting you for all those years, and more importantly, sorry for doubting that you could be a hero. Now rage started to invade Izuku. Why was he doing this now? Why not sooner? Did he seriously think he could forgive him? Why then, Kachan? No, Katsuki. Why only now? Why didn't you apologize for all the bruises you gave me, the blood I spilled, the humiliation? Listen, I know we've never been on good terms. I admit I was a piece of shit to you, but ever since we both got into Yuuei, you just sort of left me behind. Suddenly, everything felt so quiet, Katsuki explained. No matter how good I did, no matter how high I went, no one cared. They just nodded and turned around, completely ignoring me. Not even my old friends from middle school were talking to me anymore. Well, no duh, no one wants to be friends with a piece of shit like you, Izuku thought. But you were different. You legitimately admired me, acknowledged me, even liked me. Yet I didn't get the message until you two turned your back on me. I could become #1, and I became #1, referring to the sports festival. But so what? What was the point of being #1 if there were no #2s, no #3s? What was the point of jumping hurdles if there's nothing to be given, except for more hurdles to jump? I miss you, man, Deku. I miss my... Shut up, Kachan. Izuku cut off, rage apparent in his voice. I miss my #2? That's what you were gonna say. You're far too predictable. Yeah, but why? What's so wrong about... You don't miss me, Kachan. You don't miss me as a friend. You miss me because I'm the only fish that doesn't flail when it bites the hook. You miss me because I'm the only fan you ever had. You miss me because without me, you have nothing to inflate your ego with. I'm nothing to you but a tool. A tool to break when you're angry about anything. A tool to beat up like a sandbag because real humans fight back when you hit them. Izuku yelled back. And you really expect me to kneel down crying, "I forgive you." After that confession, dream on, Katsuki. The world isn't always about you. Suddenly, in mid-sentence, Katsuki went down to his knees, groveling. I sincerely apologize, Izuku. Please, just give me another chance, Katsuki said. his voice shaking. Seeing this, Izuku let out a slight chuckle. You know, it's funny. Had this been 6 months ago, I would have forgiven you, he said, while waving his hand behind him as Katsuki started noticing movement behind Izuku. If only you had done this sooner. Maybe I wouldn't have turned. Suddenly, a massive blonde bison of a man with muscle fibers covering his arms came charging, smashing Katsuki into a tree as the student coughed out blood. Following that man came one after another, completely surrounding Katsuki. And I came to kidnap a random student from Yuuei, but it looks like one literally just offered himself to me, Izuku laughed. Deku, what's the meaning of this? Katsuki yelled out. Simple, this is a kidnapping, and you're our target, Izuku laughed, as his innocent green eyes doled out, hollow like that of a beast, one that Katsuki had never before seen in his life. Seeing this, Katsuki shot 2 explosions out of his fists. Fine then, you fucks, come and get me. The pro heroes didn't even come close to stopping the students, who immediately went running towards the source of the explosion. As they reached their destination, they saw Katsuki beaten up and bloodied on the ground, hardly twitching, while Izuku, laughing sadistically, turned towards them, realizing that the cavalry had arrived. No, it can't be. Izuku? Ochako uttered out. Ah, so you finally found out. What gave it away? Was it Shigaraki? I'm gonna say it was Shigaraki, Izuku responded. So, you were the man behind the mask of Mightless, Izuku exclaimed. Yep, S-rank criminal right here, Izuku said, pointing to himself. But why? Why are you the villain? Did you say you wanted to become a pro hero to help drag people out of villainy? What happened, Midoriya? What made you turn to the dark side? Ida cried, on the verge of tears. My goals haven't changed a bit, Tenya, Izuku replied. But with the Hero Association in its current state, achieving that goal is simply impossible. This is the only way, replied Izuku. What? Don't you all see? We live in a society corrupted with arrogance. I've seen it everywhere. From the young kids who think they can be heroes just because of their quirks, to the heroes who abuse their privileges, not just through their free use of quirks. Can you imagine how we would react to the actions of our favorite heroes had they not been called heroes? We would have been horrified. People are too reliant on heroes nowadays. We believe in that heroes will come. Heroes will come. That we can no longer save ourselves. But can heroes really accomplish what they promised? Can they save the mutant quirk users, who are the most common villains, due to society shunning them for their looks? Can they save the poor people, who were born in poor families, and can only commit crimes to survive? Can they save the poor, quirkless kid, getting picked on at the park for being so weak, by kids who still think they can be heroes no less? And what about the police? What about the medics and doctors? What about the real heroes, who despite their weaker training, risk their lives daily on the front line? There are too many people put there nowadays that want to be heroes, that the remaining jobs are being overlooked because heroes have too much power. But I'm different. I'll show the world that heroes aren't gods. I will bestow you heroes with the justice you truly deserve, Izuku called out. Listen to yourself, Izuku, yelled Kaminari. You sound almost exactly like Stain. That comment, however, made Izuku laugh. Stain? Don't compare me to that piece of trash, Izuku laughed. Stain was weak. He had the right ideology, but lacked the patience, teamwork, and leadership to do so. I have everything he lacks and much more. I'm not trying to be Stain. I am Stain. The class was speechless. Never would they have thought that Izuku, the little innocent kid, would have been such a monster. He's lost it. He's completely lost it, uttered Mineta. Suddenly, another large explosion was heard from behind, as the lounge where Class B and the Wild Pussycats were staying was also attacked. Looks like my men have finally reached the lounge, Izuku smiled, picking up Katsuki. What the, are you behind that too? Aizawa yelled, pointing behind him at the black smoke. We couldn't just make all of this look like a stealth mission, after all. We need the world to know that you pro heroes actually tried to stop us, but failed miserably. Besides, there are certain members in my league that are itching to get payback on certain pro heroes, Izuku laughed, as a black shadow suddenly appeared below Class A and the teachers. I was originally just gonna take Kachan and leave, but now things are getting much more interesting. So I hope you play nice with my men. Bye! As the two pro heroes and the rest of Class A besides Katsuki were warped away, Izuku started to head down towards the unguarded lounge. Warp Kachan back to base and restrain him, ordered Izuku. Where are you going, young master? Asked Kurogiri. Shigaraki was, without a doubt, the one who gave away my identity, so chances are he's currently under the hero's custody. And now, with them out the way, I'm just gonna waltz in to pay my old colleague. Izuku replied as his hand sizzled with dark energy. A little visit. Upon saying that, Izuku's grin became more twisted and sadistic, giving the bartender shivers. Where did all these villains come from? Asked Pixie Bob, as her team managed to evacuate all the Class B students, before suddenly getting attacked by a four-man group. Who are you? Asked Tiger in his usual menacing way. Who are we? Replied the taller one of the group. The best of the best, the finest pedigree. We've come to join the hunt. The pack with no weaknesses, ferocious, fierce, and wolf-like. We are, the group posed. Only their poses more resembled the Ginyu Force rather than their opposing team, the Roaring Hounds of Hunt. For the record, I was opposed to this, Alpha mumbled, using his quirk to prevent himself from being embarrassed, using his quirk to shut down his emotions. Watching the group left the pussycat speechless. Are we really gonna do this? Mandalay asked, clearly cringing to the group. We have to. It's our duty, Tiger replied unfazed. The things we do as heroes, she sighed as Pixie Bob sent an earth wave to them. Seeing the upcoming attack, Rabbit's quirk activated, smashing right through the wall, aiming at Pixie Bob. Tiger, seeing that his teammate was in danger, kicked him in the stomach, sending him flying back. While the heroes were fighting, Vlad evacuated the last of Class B. Where's Aizawa? He should be here by now, Vlad called out. I'll go look for him. My search quirk should be able to detect them, Ragdoll suggested, running off. Then we'll come too, Tiger replied, saying that most of the students were safe, issuing a tactical retreat to regroup with the other two pro heroes. As the team ran off, however, the hounds didn't follow. Hey boss, shouldn't we go after them? Asked Rapid. I don't think that'll be necessary. Once they find Aizawa, it'll already be too late, Alpha grinned. While Shigaraki was struggling with his restraints, the door behind him was kicked down, and the figure that emerged sent vibes of dread down his heart. Hello, Shigaraki. Mightless.
I